Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about the U-Bass or ukulele-bass. Let's clear a few things up to begin with. This is basically a small bass guitar. People call it the ukulele-bass, I think, because of its short scale size, but really it's got nothing to do with the ukulele in my opinion. It's a very small bass guitar. It is tuned the same way as a double bass or an electric bass guitar. That is E, the fixed string nearest your chin, A, D, G. So E, the string that would be nearest your chin, A, D, G. So for the rest of this video, I'll just be referring to it as a bass guitar. So let's get started. The plucking motion I use to play the bass guitar is to rest my hand on the top of the uke like that, slightly over, and I'm using these two fingers, the first and the second, to pluck the strings. To the count of basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that will be the only plucking motion in this series of videos. If I do use another one, I will demonstrate it, but most of the time I am using that technique with my right or my plucking hand. The main job of a bass guitarist is to underpin the music. You can play chords on a bass guitar, but most bass players tend to play the underpinning of what the guitarist, the piano player or the ukulele player is playing. So if they were playing a G chord, you can play a G note like that to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can play more than that. You can play like a sort of walking bass line. For this you are playing the Arpeggio of G. So let's get started. So now we'll do the Arpeggio of G. It is the 3rd fret of the E string, the string nearest your chin. The 2nd fret of the A string, next one down, and the 5th fret of the A string. So it's 3rd, 2nd, 5th, then back to that one. So it's the 3rd of the thick E string, 2nd fret of the A, 5th fret of the A. Now to play it properly, do this one, then back to that one to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, to a regular count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, it's the 3rd fret of the E string, 2nd fret of the A string, 5th fret of the A string, then back to 2nd fret of the A string to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll play that again. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Due to the way this instrument is tuned, you can use that same formula we've just used on the G chord for the C. You just drop everything down one string. So it's the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D and 5th fret of the D. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the exact same formula, just drop down one string. So it's C would be there, the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D and 5th fret of the D. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To this count. 1, 2, 4. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. The next chord we need is a D chord, and we can use the same formula we've just used. This time you start from the 5th fret of the A string, and so it's there, so it's 5th fret of the A string, 4th fret of the D string and 7th fret of the D string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's for the D chord, it is the 5th fret of the A string, the 4th fret of the D string and the 7th fret of the D string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the 5th fret of the A string, 4th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the D string, 4th fret of the D string, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So now we know the chords and their shapes. Let's move on to playing a song. We will do the 12-bar blues in the key of G. So there'll be 4 bars of G. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Two bars of C. 2 bars of G. 1 bar of D. 1 bar of C, 2 bars of G. And we'll go for that again. 4 bars of G. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 bars of C, 2 bars of G. 1 bar of D, 1 bar of C, 2 bars of G. So now we'll try playing that in a continuous flow. So after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. and again after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 4 bars of G. For most of this video you've seen what my left hand, or the fretting hand, has been playing. I will now show you what my right is doing. I am just using a G shape up here. So for the G note on the E string, I use my first, then. So I'm using first on the G note on the E string I should say, dropping down, so on the G chord, on the E string, on the A string, so on the thick E string, so on the G shape, E string, A string, when I go to the C chord, I just drop everything down one. When I go to the D shape, back to the C, then G. And that's what my right hand is doing during these videos. Some people use 3 fingers, some use 2, and some just use 1. I use 2 personally, but you can use whichever number of fingers you wish. Well, I hope you found that video useful on the ukulele bass, U-bass, or as I call it, the bass guitar. If you have, please give us a thumbs up. There's a series of these videos coming, so subscribe to Blackpool Music School to be kept up to date. So until next time, keep practicing, keep playing, and goodbye. Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about the U-bass, ukulele bass or bass guitar. This is basically a bass guitar. It's listed sometimes a U-bass or ukulele bass. I think it's because of its small size, but it is not tuned like a ukulele. It is tuned like a traditional bass guitar. So, with that out the way, let's get started. For all the videos in this series, I am tuned E, the thickest string nearest your chin, A, D, and then G. So E, the string nearest your chin, A, then D, then G. So E, A, D, G. If you play guitar, there will be another 2 treble strings down here. So it's the same tuning as the bass strings on a normal guitar. So if you've watched the first video, you will have learnt this shape. And we learnt the 12 bar blues in G. For this video I'll be showing you how to play in other keys using the same formula we've just used there. In this video I'll be showing you how to play in other keys using the same pattern and moving style you did in the first video. So in this video we'll be playing in the key of A. So this time we start at the 5th fret and use the same pattern. That is your A chord arpeggio shape. When you want the D, you drop down one string. So this time we start at the 5th fret on the A string. That is D, and your E is at the 7th. So if we did the 12 bar blues, it'd be at the 5th fret of the E string. 1. We drop down one string, then back to the A position, the 5th fret of the E string. For the E chord, we go to the 7th of the A string, 5th of the A string, then back up to the 5th of the E string for our A chord. So if we did the 12 bar blues, it'd be 4 starting at the 5th fret of the E string. We drop down one fret to the 5th fret of the A string for our D. Back to the 5th fret of the E string for our A chord. 7th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the E string. So that will be the 12 bar blues in the key of A. So now we can play that, we'll play it with a bit of rhythm and speed. So after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 4 bars of A, starting at the 5th fret of the E string. Drop down one string I should say, to the 5th fret of the A string. Back up to the 5th fret of the E string. 7th fret of the A string. 5th fret of the A string, 5th fret of the E string. So again, 12 bar blues in the key of A. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I will write the name of the chords in the link down below. All you need to remember is it's 1, 2, 3, 4 to each letter. So when you see 4 A's, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one letter, the second letter, third letter, fourth letter. So now we've covered playing in the key of A. We're now going to play in the key of C, just using a different starting position and the same movement. So let's get started. So now we're going to play in the key of C, the 12 bar blues. We're using exactly the same chord shapes and exactly the same movements between each chord, we're just starting off on a different point. So this time we're starting off at the 3rd fret of the A string. Then we drop down one string to the 3rd fret of the D string, then back up to the 3rd fret of the A string. Then the 5th fret of the D string, back to the 3rd fret of the D string, then back up to the 3rd fret of the A string. So these chords would be C. C would be the 3rd fret of the A string. When we drop down one to the 3rd fret of the D string, that is F. Then we go back to the 3rd fret of the A string for C. The 5th fret of the D string is another G shape. Back to the 3rd fret of the D string for your F. Then back to the 3rd fret of the A string for your C. So let's play the 12-bar blues in the key of C, starting at the 3rd fret of the A string, 4 bars of C. We drop down one string, 3rd fret of the D string, for your F chord. Then back to C. 5th fret of the D string for your G chord. Back to the 3rd fret of the D string for your F chord, then back to G. So we'll play that together. 12-bar blues in the key of C after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. F, C, G, F, C. Some of you may have noticed that there's a G here, a G here, and there are G's in other places as well as C's and D's. Which one you choose to play is up to you. So we'll do the 12-bar blues in the key of C, this time without stopping, playing all the way through. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Again, 4 bars of C. We are now going to play the 12-bar blues in the key of D. It's a similar format to what we've been using. This time we're starting at the 5th fret of the A string for our D chord. So we need 4 of them, so we'll do 4 Ds. 1, 2, 3, 4. We drop down one string for our G, so the 5th fret of the D string. This is your G chord. Then back up to the 5th fret of the A string for your D chord. 7th fret of the D string for your A. 5th fret for your G. 5th fret of the A string for your D. So go for that again. D is the 5th fret of the A string. We need 4 bars of D. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 2 bars of G, so we drop down one string. back up to the A string, 5th fret for your D chord, 2 bars. 7th fret of the D string for your A chord, back to the 5th fret for your G chord, 5th fret of the A string for your D chord. So we will now play that all the way through, starting at the 5th fret of the A string, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 12 bar blues in the key of D, starting at the 5th fret of the A string, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. And that is the 12 bar blues in the key of D. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to Blackpool Music School to be kept up to date with the series on the bass, U-bass, ukulele, bass guitar. If you found it useful, like I say, please give us a thumbs up and help our channel grow. Thank you for watching, take care and goodbye. Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about the U-bass, ukulele bass or the bass guitar. This is called a U-bass or a ukulele bass. I just call it a small bass guitar. It's tuned nothing like a ukulele, it is tuned the same as a double bass or an electric bass. So let's get started. For this video I am tuned E, the fixed string nearest your chin, A, D and G. Like I said previously, the same as a double bass or an electric bass guitar. And all the techniques I teach you on this, you can apply to them. So it's the E string, the string nearest your chin, A, D and G. So let's get started. In the previous video we were doing 1 pluck per beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This time we're going to do it in double time, so there's 2 plucks per beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All we're doing with this hand is just plucking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just plucking twice as fast. So very slow, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 4 bars of G will be 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars. So the 12 bar blues in the key of G using that 8th beat pattern. So it's 4 bars of G. So that's 4 bars of G. Two bars of C, 2 bars of G, 1 bar of D, 1 bar of C, 2 bars of G. So we'll play that now without any breaks. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Repeat. When you play that, you can mix the two patterns up. So the first bar, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Second bar, basically what you're doing is, when you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a gap between each note, and you're just basically putting another note in there. You're not playing slower or faster, you're just putting another note in there, although it sounds faster. So we'll do 1 bar of quarter notes, then 1 bar of eighth notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... You could even use this on before you change chords. So on the first 3 bars of G, you could play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you're going to change chords, the choice is yours. So play around with that. All that matters is you keep time. So if you say to yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your quarter note beats. Whatever you can fit in between is fine, as long as you are hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can even mix them up in the same bar. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1. There I'm doing 1 on the G note, 2 and on that note, 3 on that note and 4 and on that one. So 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and... So the 12 bar blues could sound like this. So So now we'll apply that over the 12 bar blues. One bar will be in quarter notes, one bar will be in eighths. You can choose which ones you want to do, but I'll just do this as a rough demonstration. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go for that again. One bar of quarter notes, one bar of eighth notes. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course you can apply that to the other chord progressions we've been doing. So if we go back to the C chord progression, or the D chord progression, you may notice I changed it round again there. You can do whatever you wish. As long as you keep time, that's the main thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, there's plenty you can do. Well, I hope you found that video useful. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Blackpool Music School to be kept up to date with our video releases. This is part of a series of video on the U-Bass, ukulele bass or bass guitar, so subscribing will keep you up to date when they are released. For more information on Blackpool Music School, follow the links down below. It's to our Twitter page, Facebook page and of course our web page. Until next time, keep playing, keep practicing, take care and goodbye. Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about the U-Bass, ukulele-bass, or as I call it, a short-scaled bass guitar, because basically, excuse the pun, that is what it is. We are tuned E, the thicker string nearest your chin, A, D, G. That's E, A, D, G. So, let's get started. In this video, I'll be showing you an easy way to play the 12-bar blues. All you will need is one chord shape and the ability to jump from strings to strings. And that is all. So, let's get started. You will recognise this chord shape from the previous videos. We are putting our second finger at the 3rd fret of the A string. That is our C. That's C, the note of C. Then we need the 2nd fret of the A string, and then the 5th fret of the A string, then back to the 2nd. So it's the 3rd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D string, 5th fret of the D string, back to the 2nd. Repeat. count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was our C chord. To play the F chord, you simply move everything down one string. So this time we're on the 3rd fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the G string, and 5th fret of the G string, and back to 2nd. So it's 3rd fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the G string, 5th fret of the G string, back to 2nd fret, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, the C was there. All we did was drop one string down and repeat the pattern. And that is our F chord. So C starts at the 3rd fret of the A string, and the F chord starts at the 3rd fret of the D string. We need one more chord to play the 12-bar blues, and that is the G chord in the key of C. So if you go back to your C position, this time you're moving one string up onto the thicker string and repeat the pattern. So it's the 3rd fret now of the E string, the thicker string, 3rd fret, 2nd fret of the A string, 5th fret of the A string, back to the 2nd fret. So it's the 3rd fret of the thick E string, 2nd fret of the A string, 5th fret of the A string, back to 2nd fret, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is your G. So if you're in C there and you want to go to G, you just move everything closer to your chin, one string up, and that is your G chord. So as you can see, C starts on that string there, the A string at the 3rd fret, F starts at the 3rd string of the D string, 3rd fret of the D string, sorry, and the G chord starts at the 3rd fret of the E string. So the 12-bar blues follows the formula. The key you're in, that's what you start off on, and there's 4 bars of that. So in this case we're in the key of C, so that's 4 bars of C. So we'll play 4 bars. 2, 3, 4, that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. So we drop down one string to go to the F, and we play that F chord for 2 bars. Then we go back to the C for 2 bars. Then we go to the G for 1 bar, the F for 1 bar, and then C for 2 bars. So to clarify that, if you're in the 12-bar blues in this key of C, you start off with 4 bars of C. So we'll play 4 bars in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 2 bars of F, we just drop down one string. Then back to C for 2 bars. Then G for 1 bar, F for 1 bar, and C for 2 bars. And we just repeat that pattern, C for 4 bars. F for 2 bars. Back to C. G for one bar, F for one bar, C for two bars. So we will play that through without stopping. I'll write the chord progression down below. It's 4 plucks per letter. So let's get started in the key of C. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do it again after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, with one chord shape and staying within them 4 frets, we can play the 12-bar blues. We just start off on a different string. Now this is how I'll explain this now. The root is the chord you start off on. So if you're in the key of C, you would start off with a C there. The next chord you would move to would be the 4th chord in the key of C, which is the F. Then you move back to the root. Then you move to the 5th chord in the key of C, which is G, then back to the 4th, then back to the 1st. So I'll go for that again. In the key you're in this case the key of C, you start off with the C chord, and we start there. Then we go to the F chord, back to the C, the G, the F, and then finally back to the C, and you just repeat that pattern. Like I said, the description is written down below so you can follow the chord sequence, and that is roughly how you play the 12-bar blues in the key of C. But with this instrument we can play in any key we really need using that chord shape, just starting off in a different position. So now we know the chord progression and the way the fingers fall round each other, we'll move into a different key. So you need to remember the chord shape there and how they all relate to each other. So this time we're going to do the 12-bar blues in the key of D. So your starting point this time is the 5th fret of the A string, and you play 4 bars of D. For the next chord you simply drop down 1 string like you did with the F chord and 2 bars of that chord. Back up to your root or your starting position. Back to the top string for 1 bar at the 5th fret. The chord again at the 5th fret of the D string. Then back to your starting position. So your starting position is the 5th fret of the A string, and we play that for 4 bars. We drop down 1 string, repeat for 2 bars. Back to the starting position for 2 bars. We move to the top string for 1 bar, back down to the next position, then back to start position. So now we'll play the 12-bar blues in the key of D, starting off at the 5th fret of the A string, 4 bars, after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop down 1 string, back to start position. Starting on the thicker string of the 5th fret of the E string, back down to that one. start position. So we'll have a run through of the 12 bar blues in the key of D without pausing in between. So after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To use this system, all you really need to know is the name of the note on the A string here, that string there. Second one down from your chin. This one here. And you can play the 12 bar blues in any key, a basic 12 bar blues I should say. So now we'll pick something a more bluesier key. We'll pick E flat. Now for E flat we start at the 6th fret of the A string. So there's 4 bars starting there. We drop down one string, back up to starting position. Move up to the thicker string, down to that one again, and start position 2 bars. So again, we're starting at the 6th fret of the A string, and this is D sharp or E flat. So we do 4 bars. Drop down one string, back to start position. Up to this thicker string, back down to that one, back to start position. So let's have a run through of the 12 bar blues in the key of D sharp and E flat, starting at the 6th fret of the A string. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, with one chord shape and following a few simple rules, you can play the 12 bar blues in any key you wish. All you really need to know is that chord shape and your starting position on the A string. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Blackpool Music School for more videos. In the link down below you will find links to our Twitter page, Facebook page and our website of course. So thank you for watching, take care and goodbye. Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about the U-Bass, Ukulele-Bass or a short scale bass guitar. We are tuned E, the string nearest your chin, A, D, G. That is E, A, D, G. So let's get started. In this video we will be covering what I would call the 1950s and 60s Ballard Progression. When you hear the background melody I'm sure you'll recognise it from various songs. For this we'll be learning one new chord shape but using chord shapes we've previously used in the other video. So let's get the ones you know out of the way first. We'll be using a G, So we start at the 3rd fret of the thick E string, and we'll be using this pattern: 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, this one, this one, and back to that one. To 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is your G chord. For your C, you start at the 3rd fret of the A string, and again 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is your C, starting at the 3rd fret of the A string, and for our D, we start at the 5th fret of the A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, G starts at the 3rd fret of the E string. We drop one down, one string down to the 3rd fret of the A string for your C chord. The 5th fret of the A string for your D chord. So that is G, C, D. For this chord sequence to work, we will need to learn a minor chord. And in this case, the chord is E minor. Now, if you play the chord shape we've just played, starting at the 7th fret of the A string, using the same chord shape, that is E major. To make it a minor, we just move this finger here back 1 fret. So from the 6th back to the 5th. And that's now your minor chord. So it's the same chord pattern as before for these two, but this one you move back 1 fret to the 5th fret. So E major, the normal position, we're going to move this one back now. E minor, E major, E minor. And that applies to all the chord shapes we've just done. If you move this finger back 1 fret towards the tuning pegs, you will make that chord a minor. So now we've learnt the chords, let's learn the chord progression. Now, of course, write it in the link down below, and it's 4 plucks per letter, okay? So let's get started. On a G, 1 bar. Then to the E minor, remembering to move this finger back 1 fret. Then C. Then D. Again, G. E minor, remembering to move this finger 1 fret back. C. D. G again. E minor. C. D. And again, G is at the 3rd fret of the E string. E minor is at the 7th fret of the A string. C is at the 3rd fret of the A string. And D is at the 5th fret of the A string. So now I'll play that chord progression for you without pausing in between. So it's 1 bar of each. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a demonstration of that chord progression using one bar of each letter. You can of course play it with two, like this. That was the 1950s, 1960s chord progression. You'll have heard that in various songs, and it even continues up to this day. And that was in the key of G, and they nearly always follow that formula. Sometimes you'll play one chord more than the other, but nearly always it follows that formula. So, I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Blackpool Music School for more videos. In the description down below there are links to our Twitter page, Facebook page and of course our web page. Until next time, keep playing, keep practicing, take care and goodbye.